Hi there, fellow plant-based friend. Today I'm excited to show you how to create a flavorful and nutritious homemade vegetable broth right in your own kitchen. Whether you're a seasoned chef or a plant-based beginner, making your own broth is not only easy, but also a great way to reduce waste and enhance your culinary creations. I'm Nichole Dandrea-Russert, Food Revolution Network's dietitian and recipe developer. Welcome to our How to Cook series, where we give you tips and tricks on preparing delicious and nutritious plant-based meals. Before we get started, let's go over the simple ingredients you'll need for this homemade vegetable broth. You'll need fresh vegetables like carrots, celery, onions, leeks, garlic, or any other vegetables you have on hand that you feel will give this broth depth and flavor. One tip to diversify the broth's flavor, boost your nutrition, and reduce food waste is to keep a bin or container in your refrigerator with veggie scraps that can be used to make your broth. I happen to have leftover carrots and celery from a recipe I made earlier in the week, so I'll be throwing them into the mix today. You can also save scraps in freezer-safe containers and make the stock when you're ready. Also, fresh herbs can take your broth to the next level. Whether you have fresh thyme and rosemary growing in your garden, parsley that needs to be used up in your fridge, or dried bay leaves in your cabinet, get them out with your veggies and get ready to add them to your pot. Finally, you'll need approximately 64 ounces of water. You can also add a little salt if you'd like, but it's an optional ingredient and certainly not necessary with all of the other flavorful ingredients. Start by washing your veggies if they're not yet washed and roughly chopping them. You can keep the skins on for added flavor and nutrients. Again, this is a great way to utilize any kitchen scraps you might have, like broccoli stems or thick ribs and certain leafy greens like kale, which we'll be using today. Including them will boost the nutritional value of the broth, as these types of vegetables can be excellent sources of vitamins and phytonutrients. You can really get creative with the quantities and the types of vegetables you choose to add to your vegetable broth. For those of you who are new to making homemade veggie broth and might want a little guidance, I've measured out today's ingredients. So we have 1 sliced small onion, 1 sliced leek, 4 whole garlic cloves with the skin, 4 celery stalks, and 4 carrots that have been chopped. And then we're also going to add 1/4 cup of blended herbs, including thyme, rosemary, and oregano, and 2 bay leaves, and the stems of 1 bunch of lacinato kale. Finally, because I had the broccoli with stems in the fridge, I've chopped them and I'm going to add them to the broth for extra flavor and nutritional value. Next, we are ready to saute our vegetables. First, heat a large stovetop pot on medium-high heat. Once it's nice and hot, add the chopped onions, leeks, carrots, and celery. Saute them until they become tender and slightly caramelized, about 3 to 5 minutes. To prevent the aromatics from sticking to the bottom of the pot, keep some water close to the stovetop and add 1 to 2 tablespoons at a time to deglaze the pan. These aromatic veggies will form the base of your broth's rich flavor. Next, we'll toss in the garlic cloves as well as a handful of fresh herbs. These ingredients are going to infuse your broth with amazing aromas and flavors. And then finally, this is optional, we are going to toss in a few peppercorns. This will bring some heat. That's completely optional. And then we're also going to add those extra broccoli and kale stems that I had on hand, which is going to bring some earthiness as well as lots of nutrition. Pour enough water into the pot to cover all of the vegetables. It should be about 64 ounces. And you're going to bring that to a boil and then let it simmer for about 30 to 60 minutes to allow all of those flavors to meld together beautifully. Once your broth has simmered to perfection, carefully strain it to remove all the solids. You will be left with a flavorful liquid gold. At this point, you can taste the broth to see if you'd like to add a pinch of salt. And remember, you can always adjust the flavors based on what you have on hand or to your personal flavor preference. Once you've strained the stock, store it in the refrigerator for up to 4 days or allow it to cool, and then store it in the freezer for up to 6 months. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. So good, so flavorful and fresh. I can taste the thyme, the rosemary, and all of those beautiful aromatics that went into this vegetable broth. So there you have it, your own homemade vegetable broth ready to elevate your soups, stews, risottos, and more. Plus, you've done your part for the planet by using up those kitchen scraps in the most delicious way. Visit our blog, How to Use Food Scraps to Reduce Kitchen Waste, for ideas on what to do with the veggies in your pot. Thanks for joining me today for Food Revolution Network's How to Cook series. Happy cooking, and I will see you next time.